Paperwork and archaeology are like two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. After hundreds of years of archaeologists not taking records, we modern archaeologists probably take too much, but we are very grateful to do so. So if you do not know, archaeology is the science of destruction. You are essentially destroying the site as you are excavating it and thus destroying the knowledge that comes with that site. And you can never recreate it. You can never put artifacts in the exact same spot as you found it. So you have to take very detailed records so that archaeologists in the next 50 years, in the next 100 years, the next 1,000 years will be able to look at your records and say, I know exactly what happened, and now I can do more research on this site. Because this is unfortunately what modern archaeologists cannot do with past archaeology. Now, the paperwork is half actual pieces of paper, but then it's also your photos, your videos, your geographic information systems or GIS records, your ground penetrating radar documentation, sonar, anything. That is all technically the paperwork, quote unquote. But there are some things that on a very basic level, if you don't have all that fancy technology, you have to fill out a form for pretty much every site that you look at, and then every unit, so every square in your site, and sometimes you even have to fill out a whole other form for features or artifacts as well. So this is an example of kind of a unit paperwork. This is the paper that each individual, like say if you're doing one unit or if you and your buddy are doing one unit, you'd have one sheet, usually on a clipboard, and then you'd also potentially have a sheet for every layer of soil that you are going through. And you can see some of the standard stuff. You just need the numbers that everything gets assigned to even before you start. You do usually have to do some sort of drawing, especially if you're finding lots of artifacts or features. Features are essentially things that are artifacts but are too big to put in an artifact bag. So that can be a stone wall, that can be a post hole, a variety of different things. Then there are other forms that kind of maybe look like this. Again, every institution is going to make their own forms and they're going to be somewhat similar, but you're going to kind of have to learn the form if you're going between lots of different sites. But this one is like a feature excavation form. So it says the site and the site name and the feature number and then all the things that are found in that feature. And you do also have to write lots of descriptions. You also have to talk about the color as well. If you've never seen this before, this is a Munsell soil book. It is one of the most expensive things that you can buy in like the archaeology field, which is why most people do not own one. I am very lucky. I was gifted one for free, which was lovely. But it essentially identifies soil color and then soil texture, and so that when you are going and putting it in the records, then people in the future know exactly what color you're looking at. When I was on my field school outside of Rome, I was really lucky that the organization had actually tablets that were able to electronically do all of our paperwork by literally writing in cursive with a stylus, and then it would transfer it into text for us, which was very fancy. And every time that we found something that was deemed significant by the supervisor, there was also a separate form to fill out as well for like a specific artifact. And to be honest, I really liked working on those tablets, and so I offered always to do the paperwork because it did make it like 20 times easier. So please ask me any other questions about how archaeology works. And even though this sounds a little boring, I promise that archaeology is exciting. It's just, you gotta have the paperwork so that other people know what you're doing.